everybody, I'm back today with you and I'm starting a new series that's going to be more of a teachable series where I teach you how to actually make basics, and today I'm teaching you how to make vinaigrettes. Okay, so this is the start of a new series that I'm going to call Teachables, and I'm going to take you guys back to some basics and teach you how to create on your own versus recreating a recipe. In the past, we've taught you guys how to make specific recipes, and they're wonderful and great, but I want you to be able to have some basic education of how to make things out of what you already have in your own pantry. You may be asking yourself, why do I need to learn how to make a salad dressing or a vinaigrette when it's so easy to buy it at the grocery store? Well, I'm going to tell you. The grocery store vinaigrettes and salad dressings usually have a bunch of unwanted ingredients. They usually have fats and oils that are not good for you. A lot of salad oils like canola oil, which is pretty harmful to the body. They also have a lot of added sugars. They have thickeners, stabilizers, a lot of things that are now being shown by science to not have the most positive impact on our body and our health. And so making them at home is the best way to control all the ingredient quality that's in your salad dressings. And you can also control not just the quality of all the ingredients, but you can control the actual flavor profile and how you want it and how you prefer it. So if you like things more sour, you can make it sour. If you like them a little sweeter, you can have them sweeter, salty, etc. So it makes it completely customized to your palate. So like most recipes, a vinaigrette is no different. It's composed of fat, acid, a little sweet, and a little salty. And that's it. So for fats, I like to use really good olive oil, avocado oil, coconut oil, or some good toasted sesame oil. What I like to look for in these is all about quality. If you can get organic, and if you get cold pressed, that's even better. I don't like a lot of filtered things, just straight up good quality fats. So the acid portion of your dressing can be comprised of either some citrus or one of the many varieties of vinegars that are out. So I have a lot of vinegars in my pantry at all times, but these are some basics. This is a good white balsamic, or it's more like a good white distilled vinegar. Red wine vinegar, I have a champagne vinegar, I have a balsamic, apple cider vinegar with the mother, I love this one, and then a good rice wine vinegar that doesn't have any sugar. As far as sweeteners go, I usually like to stick with a good raw honey, especially because you're not really cooking it, and so you're gonna get all the benefits of a good raw honey. It's local, I love it. And then I also really like maple syrup. I like that it's very thin liquid, so it blends very easily into whatever you're using it for. And then I also use like fruit, like natural sweeteners. Like an orange is gonna be also an acid and a sweetener. So it's kind of nice sometimes to use that along with a sweetener, or just by itself is really nice. So the next thing that you're gonna use is what I like to call flavor enhancers. And this could be, obviously you need salt, that's a given. You can't make a dressing without salt. But it would also be like different kinds of pepper, spices, garlic, shallots, onion. It would be some fresh herbs, maybe some nice dried herbs. You could even use something like a soy sauce or tamari, something like that, where if it's an Asian flair versus, an Italian flair, you're gonna wanna use some nice dried herbs. Like, it just kind of is that thing that really makes it what it is. So every vinaigrette is pretty much the same breakdown, give or take. It's always gonna be about 1/3 of the acid and 2/3 of it will be fat. Then you're gonna have just a little bit of salt and a little bit of sweet, and that's it. So now I'm gonna walk you through making just a really simple basic vinaigrette that will go on pretty much any good salad. So for mixing a vinaigrette, I suggest using something that has a sealable top that you can shake really vigorously. It's gonna make it easy to store it in your fridge. Also, it's gonna keep everything clean and not like, you can't stir a vinaigrette. You have to really shake it and try to get the fat and the acid together. And then also something that has measurements on it, because really all you need to know, or even just markings with a Sharpie is fine. So on this mason jar, it just so happens to have 2, 4, and 6 ounce marks. So I would go 2 ounces with my acid and then up to the 6 ounces with the fat. So you're using that third and then the 2/3. And then I have this awesome OXO salad dressing shaker that I really like. They make a ton of different ones. I just have a ton of these because they have a nice easy pour spout. They're sealed really tight, and then I could shake them really good. I'll go ahead and put a link for this OXO one down below in the description, so if you want it, you can get one too. They're great. So either one. So for the most basic vinaigrette, all we're gonna use is 1 fat and 1 vinegar or acid, a little pinch of salt, and a little sploosh of honey, and that's it. If you don't have vinegar, you can always use a lemon or 2. So because this jar has these nice markings, I'm gonna go ahead, and I always start with all of my acid and my add-ins and everything in the beginning, just because it helps me do the mark of 1/3, 2/3. So I've got 1/3 vinegar, and now I'm gonna go in with the 2/3 of my fat. I'm using olive oil, and we're just gonna fill her up. And now we just need to add a pinch of salt. That was about a 1/2 teaspoon there, and then once I shake it and taste it, I can see if it needs more salt or if it's perfect. And now we're gonna add just a little bloop of honey. That's my technical term, just a little sploosh. We might need more. Again, we're just gonna taste it after we shake it and see what it tastes like. So now's the fun part. We're just gonna shake it. Try to get it so that it's all one unified color, because vinaigrettes separate really fast. So just shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it like you mean it. And then quickly open it, get your little tasting spoon, and give it a try. Ooh, that's really bright, really vinegary. I would say the only thing is it needs a little bit more honey, because it definitely is a little too tart, and I need a little bit more sweetness to it. I would say I could almost use another tablespoon of olive oil too. I didn't quite fill it to the mark, but we'll add one more little sploosh of honey. So maybe it's a teaspoon, something like that. So we have a 1/2 teaspoon of salt and a teaspoon of honey so far. And again, just go at it again. And if you guys notice, I always have like a million tasting spoons. That's kind of a pro move. In a professional kitchen, you always have a container that has a lot of tasting spoons in it. It's a one-time taste and toss it. And that way you can constantly taste your food as you're cooking, and you can season it as you go. All right, one more time. That is spot on. For me personally, I like it really sour. I like it really tart. If you're someone that wants it a smidge more balanced, you could add a little bit more honey. But another pro tip is you could also add a tablespoon or 2 tablespoons of water to it. It would help thin it a little bit, but also it would kind of mellow out the flavor. Sometimes with some of the thicker oils and vinegars, I use a little bit of water just to kind of get it to the nice consistency that I want. But this is perfect. This is done. This is a basic vinaigrette that would be good on any salad. It is so good. So let's talk flavor enhancers. At this point, we have a very basic red wine vinaigrette. It's just olive oil, red wine vinegar, salt, and honey, and that's it. Now, say I wanted to make an Italian style salad or a Greek salad. It would basically be the same ingredients. I would just add a few flavor enhancers to really give it that like specific taste that I'm going for. So I would maybe add a little bit of lemon zest, and I would maybe zest about half of this size small lemon, and I would just add that straight in there. I would add possibly some fresh thyme. Maybe I would take a small clove of garlic, and I would grate it on here and directly into here as well. I would maybe add about, about 1/4 teaspoon of some dried oregano and dried basil, and then a couple cracks of pepper. So using dried herbs and spices in a vinaigrette is a really nice way to give it just a really awesome flavor. With dried herbs, you really need to kind of bloom them. So sometimes I'll take them into my hand like this, and I'll just sort of grind them in between my hands and then drop them in, and then I'll shake them up. And what that's doing is releasing some of the oils that's left in the dried herbs. And once it's in this oil and you've shaken it really good, and the longer it sits, the more it'll disperse through the fat in the dressing, and it's gonna give it a really nice subtle flavor of whatever herb you're using. Like another great thing is some spices. Like you could use a little turmeric and a little bit of cumin and make it sort of like a different sort of flair. I mean, really the options and like the puzzling pieces together is endless. Once you just get your vinegar or your acid and your fat, little salt, little sweet, you're good to go. You can really just add whatever you want to make it totally unique. So say you want to make some kind of Asian style vinaigrette. I'm going to show you how to do that today too. All right, so the fat that I'm going to use is I'm going to use a little bit of olive oil and also some of the toasted sesame seed oil. For our acid, I'm going to use some rice wine vinegar, but also some of the orange, which is also going to be some of our sweet. So the orange is going to help with the acid and the sweet, but I'll also use a little bit of honey. And then for our flavor enhancers, we're going to use a little bit of soy sauce. You can use tamari, coconut aminos, whatever works for you. And instead of pepper, we're going to use some sambal chili paste, or you could use sriracha, something, or even red chili flakes. And then I have a clove of garlic, and I'm going to use a little bit of some fresh grated ginger, and that's really going to make it give it that amazing sort of Asian flavor that you're used to. So I use the microplane to grate about 1/4 teaspoon of the garlic and the ginger both, and I put them in my little shaker cup. So using citrus is really unique because you can use the outer zest to give you a lot of flavor without the acidity or the juice. And if you just want some of the like tart or the sweetness of a citrus, you can just use the juice. So I'm going to use a combination of both, and I'm going to zest a little bit of it, and then I'm also going to use some of the juice. All right, so some of the orange juice is going to act as an acid, and so I'm going to go ahead and fill the rest up to that 1/4 mark with our rice wine vinegar. So now I have the toasted sesame oil, and I'm going to cut it with olive oil. So let's just start with another of our third going up with that. Then our last 2/3 with the olive oil. We're also going to add a little bit of the sweetener. The orange juice is also going to act like a little bit of a sweetener, so we won't need as much, but you definitely are going to want to balance all the flavors, so a little sploosh of that. And then, instead of adding salt, I'm going to go ahead with our soy sauce or whatever you're using as a substitute, and I'm going to use this as kind of a flavor and a saltiness. So let's add a little bit of that, maybe like a teaspoon. And then also, instead of pepper, we're going to do the chili paste, so let's do like a 1/4 teaspoon of that. Again, you can add as much or as little of this as you want. And then we're going to shake it, and we're going to see if we need to adjust any of the flavors. Here's the fun part. And it should start to form a universal color, and you'll see like if you let it sit for a while, things will start to separate again. So you just want to make sure you shake it really vigorously to get everything combined. And then we're going to taste it. And the other reason I love this OXO one is because you can just pour it out and try it and see if it's good. That is so good. It has all the things that you want. It's salty, it's acidic, it's got that amazing sesame flavor. It's a little hit of sweet from the orange. It's so good. You guys are going to love this one on any kind of Asian-ish salad. All right, I'm gonna show you one last vinaigrette, and it's really interesting. It's kind of tropically, but also very like Indian-ish. It's really good. You're gonna love it, and it pairs really great with like a fruity like mango salad or an ahi tuna salad. Like you can really use it for all kinds of salads. For the fats for this dressing, it's gonna be coconut oil mainly, and then I'll cut it with a little bit of avocado oil. Our acid for this one is going to be some apple cider vinegar and also some lime. And then our sweet is going to be a little maple syrup, but you could sub honey. And also the apple cider vinegar kind of acts as a little bit of a sweet, so it's going to go really good together. And then for our flavor enhancers, obviously salt. And then we have some more of the sambal chili paste. You could also use red pepper flakes, sriracha. I have turmeric here and a little bit of coriander. Okay, so I'm going to add a little bit of the lime zest and the juice to this one. Let's just do like half of the lime for now. And because the apple cider vinegar is a little bit of sweet, this is gonna help make sure that it's really nice and tart still and well balanced. Okay, let's go in with our first third, finish that off. In addition to the lime, we're adding, the rest will be apple cider vinegar. A little sploosh of, that was probably like a 1/4 teaspoon of the maple syrup. If your coconut oil is still solidified because you live in a cold climate area, you can go ahead and just heat it up a little bit or run it under hot water just to get it liquid so you can measure it a little easier and so that you can shake it really well. That's gonna be kind of crucial for this step. I'm just gonna go ahead and add another third, a little more than a third of the coconut oil because I really want that flavor to stand out quite a bit. And then I'll finish off that last 2/3 with the avocado oil. So I'm gonna do a pinch of salt, which is about a 1/2 teaspoon. Probably do, I kind of want it to like kind of zing me, so I'm gonna go ahead and add a 1/2 teaspoon of the chili paste. I think I'm gonna do about a 1/4 teaspoon of the turmeric, and then I'll do maybe like an 1/8 teaspoon of the coriander. And then I think we're ready to shake. My only suggestion with this one is be very careful because the turmeric stains really bad. So just don't get it on anything or wear an apron. All right, let's taste it. See where we're at. Ooh, that's good. Ooh, the coconut oil comes after. In the beginning, it's really bright and limey, and then you get that hit of turmeric, and then it goes coconut. It is so good. I would love this on a salad that had like bell peppers and chicken and mango or even fish and like some nice soft greens. It would just be so good. It's such a good summertime salad. It's incredible. So as you guys can see, building a vinaigrette is really easy. Once you just get those basic measurements out where it's 1/3, 2/3, and then add your sweet, your salt, and then whatever flavor enhancers you want, really the combinations are endless and you can just make it however you want it. So when I'm building a salad, before I make my vinaigrette, I decide what I'm gonna make my salad, like what ingredients are gonna go into my salad. Am I making it more of an Italian style or a Greek style? Am I making it more like summertime? Am I making it with fruit? Am I making it with vegetarian or whatever? And that really helps me determine what kind of flavor profile or salad dressing that I really want. So say you had some snap peas and some bean sprouts and some romaine or whatever, you wanted more maybe of an Asian flair. Say you wanted to make something, like I said, where it had like mangoes and some fresh halibut or salmon or something. You maybe want the Asian one, you maybe want that awesome tropical-y one that I made. If you're going for more of a classic salad where you just are using up things that you have in the fridge, maybe that nice sort of Italian style vinaigrette or a Greek salad would be really nice. Some tomato and cucumber, a little feta, something like that. And then that way I know kind of which way I want to sort of flavor profile my salad dressing. And then really it's just a matter of using up what you have in your pantry. And hopefully you guys are starting to build your pantry and you have lots of things to choose from. Thanks for watching our first episode in our Teachable series. It's a little bit longer, but I hope you really learned something and I hope you feel confident in making your own vinaigrettes and salad dressings from now on.